Anyway, just wanted to have a chat because I was just waiting for a client that I've got coming up in a little while. But I had, there's that gap to fill in where you can't really get on with anything. Maybe, I've already finished replying to all my emails. There's nothing else for me to do. So I got on social media, started scrolling a little bit through the Facebook feed, and I'm like, oh, all of these things trying to compel us to see there's something wrong with us, and that we've got these beliefs, and these beliefs are sabotaging us, and that we need to change our beliefs, and we need to reprogram ourselves, and all these sorts of things. And look, hey, I'm in the game of personal development, specifically creative transformation, but here we are. We've all got something that we stick to. We've got things that we believe in and that sort of thing. But there is one thing I really want you to get, and that is that you are not going to change your beliefs, but you're not a victim to them either. So here's what I want to talk about. When we get invested in trying to change our beliefs, we end up chasing our tail over and over again. We'll go, oh yeah, I feel really different now. I feel like I've got a different relationship with my beliefs. I've moved those old ones on. And, I can do anything now. I can get on with my life. I can create these incredible outcomes. And we feel really enthusiastic and as if we can just get on with it. And invariably, whatever the time period is for you, whether it's a couple of days, couple of weeks, couple of months, at some point, we're in the middle of something and we're going, oh my goodness, I'm doing the same old stuff that I was doing before. I thought those beliefs were gone. I thought I was reprogrammed. I thought that everything was sorted. So we go back and we do it again, or we do something else that does a similar thing, and we try and get rid of our beliefs. We try and change our values. We try and invest a lot of time and energy in changing certain parts of ourselves that are actually never going to change. Again, we get enthused, we get motivated. Maybe we went to a different guru. They've given us a different slant on it. And look, the reason I'm telling you this is because I know I've been through them all myself. I just thought, oh, yep. Then eventually I just ended up thinking something wrong with me because I'm not able to stick at this. I can't stick to the things I'm learning. I'm not able to keep being the new version of me that I was reprogrammed into. And I can't leave those beliefs alone. So I started thinking that there's something wrong with me. And then what became really apparent is that actually there's nothing wrong with me because I noticed that other people around me were doing exactly the same. They'd be great for a while. They'd really get some stuff happening in their lives. They'd get things changing. They'd enhance their relationships. Their bank accounts look better. Blah, 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 blah. The usual things. Great stories. Everything looks like it's going great. And then it whittles back to the way that it was. And they start behaving in the old ways and all that sort of thing. And again, same thing. We cycle through it a few times until we start to realize that, hey, there's a common denominator here. I pretty much think that it's me. All right. So then we just think we're a flawed being and that there's no hope for us and we're powerless to our circumstances and to ourselves. And so that's hopeless. So we might as well just get on with life as best we can, knowing what we now know, then a few bucks short because we've invested in lots of different courses and lots of different trainings and coachings and all that sort of thing. So I just wanted to tell you, first of all, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. You are human. You have beliefs, you have unconscious values, you have a whole raft of stories and references to back all of those things up. And so, of course, there's certain things that run like programs in our neurology, but we don't have to be that way. So let's look at it like this, is that from time to time, you can actually step out of being in that state of being in your beliefs. And when you're in a state of being in your beliefs, that's when you're sort of like trying to overcome them. You're trying to do better. You reference the material that you got from the last course or the last coach or the last whatever. And you sort of try to wrestle with yourself in order to get things done. You overcome your procrastination for a while. You get motivated. You really work really hard. You dedicate yourself in time blocks to things. And that's one orientation you can go about it. But those beliefs and the orientation that you're in is very, very different to if you get those moments of insight, those little moments of clarity where it's sort of like you're above it all and you're looking at yourself and you're like, oh, that's really interesting. Or I get a new idea. Often in times like we're in the shower or we're on holidays or something, we're not even trying hard and a really brilliant idea drops in. And all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, that's a missing piece of the puzzle, and boom, 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 everything falls into place because we're in an actual different orientation in that state. And so you will have an understanding that you have two main orientations. The one is that we spend most of the time, and if we're not aware of it, is the belief-based one, where our world exists around that reality of our beliefs creates your reality, your beliefs creates your outcome. And then we think that's what it's all about. But then there's this other side, this insightful side, this sort of like brilliant idea side, this whole different resonance. You don't even have to try hard to get your end results. That side of you is also available to you. They're both broadcasting at the same time. It's just that this one's louder. And so this one, we tend to only hear from when we drop our guard a little bit, when we think, oh, okay, yeah, all right. I wasn't thinking about anything at all, but there it is. I was doing the dishes and now I've got the solution to that problem, or I have a brilliant new idea for the business, or I've got whatever it is, right? So if you learn to use this other orientation, it's actually not subject to your beliefs and stories at all. So the whole premise of your beliefs creates your reality actually doesn't exist in that realm. So the trick really is to learn to be more in that orientation as opposed to the beliefs orientation. So I've got a little demonstration for you. Let's imagine that my sunnies, when I put them on, take these ones off, obviously, we're going to say my sunnies are the sunnies of my belief orientation. So here we are, looks super cool, making sure I'm looking good in the world, you know, chill everyone, everything's good. But as I'm looking out at the world through these glasses, what I am seeing it through is this tinted lens. The lens of my beliefs, my unconscious values, all those stories I was talking about before. And yep, I can see clearly, but I'm seeing it in a tainted way. I'm seeing it with the flavor of my egoic agendas in place, firmly in place. And with my sunnies on, definitely beliefs are going to create reality. That's how my world's going to show up to me, because I've got the lens on. So imagine then I use my will and I move over into that more observer role. We're going to call it the greatness role. And we actually change the lens through which we look through. Different lens. All of a sudden, everything is very clear. It's not subject to beliefs, not subject to stories, not subject to any of that stuff. And you don't actually need to change anything. My sunnies are still my sunnies. They're still here for me. I can put them on anytime I want. And by default, I probably will wake up tomorrow morning with the sunnies on, well, metaphorically. And then, you know, I can choose to step into my greatness and be more in that orientation and less subject to the way that I see the world through my sunnies. So learning that orientation is actually really key in becoming a powerful creator in your own life. You want to become the predominant creative force in your own life, not subject to everything else. Put down the sunnies, put on the clear lenses, put a big smile on your face, and know there's nothing wrong with you. So that's my tip for today. I better go get some coaching on now. See you soon.